Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for TransLink's annual general meeting. My name is Lorraine Cunningham, and I'm the chair of TransLink's board of directors. I'd like to start by saying that we respect the First Nations within the Metro Vancouver region for their stewardship of the land from time immemorial, and acknowledge all First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people for their continued resilience as active members of the community for generations to come. We recognize that in planning and managing the region's transportation system, we have an important role to play in supporting reconciliation. June is National Indigenous History Month, an important time to honor and celebrate the stories, knowledge, and diverse contributions and cultures of the First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people across Canada. You may have noticed that many of our board members have added a virtual background to our screens with art created by Musqueam artist Gracie Lee Liu. In the last year, we've taken some important and intentional steps forward in our journey towards reconciliation. We've strengthened our commitment to reconciliation by developing internal processes that ensure Indigenous voices are considered thoughtfully and consistently in all our major projects. We've expanded our bus service to the Tsawwassen and Katzie First Nations as part of our ongoing work to deliver transit services to Indigenous communities. And we've continued to showcase Indigenous art on the transit system, sharing Indigenous stories in an engaging way, all while ensuring that they are visible, lasting presence throughout our stations and infrastructure. This included art wraps on 2 SkyTrain cars for National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, a new bus wrap to mark the National Indigenous Peoples Day, and 2 art installations at Fibs Exchange. So today we are gathered here to reflect on the past year, acknowledge the important work we've done, and to look ahead at what's next for the organization as we continue to deliver for our customers. Before we get started, I'd like to recognize my fellow board members who are joining us today for this virtual AGM. We have Mayor Malcolm Brody, Jennifer Chan, Gordon Harris, Stephen Howard, Darlene Hyde, Tracy Reddies, Andrea Reimer, Alan Seckel, and Mayor Brad West. Director Sandhu is unable to join us today due to illness, but I know that he will probably be watching. At today's annual general meeting, you will hear from TransLink CEO Kevin Quinn, BC Rapid Transit Company President and General Manager Sani Zane, Coast Mountain Bus Company Vice President and Maintenance Randy Helmer, and Metro Vancouver Transit Police Chief Officer Suzanne Muir. We also have time for Q&A at the end of the program, where we will answer your questions submitted using Slido. If you're watching this meeting on Slido, you can submit your questions to the right of the live stream. The link to ask questions can also be found on our website at translink.ca/AGM. And following the conclusion of the AGM, we will take a short break before we move into our board meeting at 10 a.m. This meeting will be broadcast live on TransLink's YouTube channel, so I welcome you to come and join us there. So 2024 was a busy and transformative year for the enterprise. For a full picture of what 2024 was like for us, I encourage you to look at our 2024 accountability report and annual statutory report, both available on translink.ca. Over the past 12 months, we've made remarkable progress, advancing major projects, launching innovative new programs, and securing funding through the 2025 investment plan to support long-term stability and help move the Access for Everyone plan forward. None of this would have been possible without the tireless dedication of the employees across the enterprise, and we thank them very much for all that time. Through every challenge and every success, they go above and beyond and keep our region moving. And on behalf of the board, I want to thank each and every one of them for their time, commitment, resilience, and care. Now I'd like to introduce TransLink CEO Kevin Quinn. So Kevin, over to you.
Great. Thank you so much, Chair Cunningham, and thank you everyone for joining us today. Next slide, please. When I spoke to you all at last year's AGM, TransLink was facing a very dire financial situation, a structural deficit of more than $600 million annually. And without a solution, we were facing the very real prospect of having to cut transit services in half, something no one wanted to see. But over the past 12 months, we've taken very meaningful action to close that gap, including rolling out a series of cost savings and revenue generating measures worth $90 million per year, ensuring we're operating as efficiently as possible. We've worked diligently to ensure everyone understood the urgency of our situation and the impact it would have on the region. And thanks to this collective effort, I'm proud to say that all levels of government have demonstrated their support to ensure transit remains a catalyst for growth, resilience, and long-term prosperity in our region. Next slide, please. Our work over the past year really underscored just how essential public transit is to our region. It really is what keeps Metro Vancouver and our local economy moving, connecting people to jobs, education, and critical services every single day. And no matter the challenge, one thing has always remained constant, and that is our dedication to delivering for our customers every day. We added 160,000 new service hours last year, delivering more frequent service and much needed relief on overcrowded routes around the region. We also opened Capstan Station on the Canada Line, a major milestone for customers traveling to, from, and through Richmond. And only the second station ever added to an existing SkyTrain line, Capstan improves rapid transit access to the growing Capstan Village area, which is expected to be home to 16,000 residents. Next slide, please. In January, we took a big step forward in our bus rapid transit program by identifying routes and station locations for 2 future BRT lines in Surrey, Maple Ridge, and the township of Langley. BRT is key to unlocking more connected communities and expanding access to opportunities for both workers and employers. These future corridors will serve over 200,000 residents and 100,000 jobs, supporting growth, affordability, and economic prosperity. Planning is also underway for our 3rd BRT line connecting Metrotown to the North Shore, with public engagement expected later this year. Next slide, please. Earlier this year, we began testing the next generation Mark V SkyTrain cars, a critical step in ensuring their safety and reliability before welcoming customers on board. And when we introduce our first in-service Mark V train in the near future, it will mark the start of an exciting new era for SkyTrain. The Mark V offers 25% more capacity, a more spacious and comfortable ride, and modern features that enhance the SkyTrain experience for customers. By supporting SkyTrain expansion across the region, the Mark V will help us serve more customers more often. And while this is just a snapshot of what we've achieved, I'm really proud of how far we've come. These accomplishments remind us of what's possible when we stay focused on building a world-class transit system that meets both today's needs and tomorrow's challenges. Next slide, please. And that's why we're continuing to invest in expanding and modernizing the system to meet the needs of our growing region, both now and into the future. We're making progress on major projects already underway, billion-dollar initiatives that are shaping the future of our region, including a 27% expansion of our SkyTrain network with the Broadway and Surrey-Langley extensions, as well as a transformation of our bus system to improve speed, reliability, and support our transition toward a zero-emission fleet by 2040. We're upgrading SkyTrain stations across the network to improve accessibility, replace aging infrastructure, and ensure the system remains safe, reliable, and comfortable for years to come. We also took meaningful steps on our path to net zero by starting to transition our bus fleet, 3 transit centers, and the entire West Coast Express fleet to renewable diesel, cutting over 12,000 tons of greenhouse gas emissions in 2024 alone. This is a key part of our broader efforts to advance the climate action strategy and cut emissions by 45% by 2030. And as we continue to deliver on these major initiatives, we're laying the foundation for a transit system people can count on. Next slide, please. But I really want to convey that transit is about more than just moving people. It's a powerful tool for advancing equity, for supporting sustainability, and creating opportunities across the region. A strong transit system enables stronger communities, more connected, more inclusive, and more resilient. And today, over 900,000 jobs and most parks, shopping centers, and entertainment venues are all within a 15-minute walk of transit, giving people easier access to the places that matter most. And I'm incredibly proud of what we've been able to accomplish this past year, always keeping our customers at the heart of every decision. And nowhere is that customer-first approach more evident than in our ridership numbers. Next slide, please. The impact of our work is really clear. More people are choosing transit to move around Metro Vancouver each year. And as our region grows, transit is increasingly becoming the preferred alternative to drive-in. And I think this is a true testament to the reliability of our system. In 2024, our total ridership reached 241 million annual journeys. That's a commendable 3% increase from 2023. Metro Vancouver continues to be a leading transit region with the 4th highest bus ridership among all Canadian and American transit agencies and the 2nd highest per person ridership in Canada, trailing only Greater Montreal. This is especially impressive given our population is only 60% the size of Greater Montreal's. It shows that more people are seeing transit not as a backup, but as their first choice for getting around. Next slide, please. Communities like Surrey and Langley have experienced high rates of population growth in recent years, but transit ridership is growing even faster. In 2024, ridership in the southeast part of our region grew by more than 11%. That's more than anywhere else in Metro Vancouver. To meet this rising demand, we've increased bus service south of the Fraser River by 30% over the past 5 years, thanks to improved frequencies and the launch of the R6 Rapid Bus. While we may not continue to see these unprecedented rates of growth, it's essential we continue to keep up with the growth we've already experienced and support newcomers who are here today by providing convenient and reliable transit options. Next slide, please. Major events are another key driver of transit ridership. In 2024, Stadium Chinatown SkyTrain station saw a 29% increase in ridership thanks to big events at BC Place and Rogers Arena. In December, Taylor Swift's Eras Tour brought record-breaking ridership, with more than 1.9 million transit journeys taken across all modes over just 3 days. And it's not just major events driving growth, it's also transit-oriented development. Between 2022 and 2024, stations like Gateway, Burquitlam, and Brentwood saw ridership skyrocket by 30%, thanks to their proximity to high-density housing, office space, and commercial hubs. And with future growth planned around the region through our real estate development program, we're helping unlock new hubs of activity that will drive even more ridership in the years ahead. Next slide, please. Metro Vancouver's population reached 3 million people last year, and that number is projected to climb to 4 million by 2050. To keep pace, we need a strong, reliable, resilient transit system that grows with our region. We know that transit is one of the smartest investments we can make for BC's future. And as our population increases, ensuring everyone can access it will be more important than ever. With strategic planning and the right investments, we can shape a thriving, connected region where transit plays a central role. And over the past year, we've made real progress towards achieving this vision and delivering the kind of system our region needs. And thanks to the newly approved 2025 investment plan, we are able to keep this momentum going. Next slide, please. The 2025 investment plan approved in April provides us with the foundation to keep doing what we do best, delivering reliable, high-quality service for our customers. It also positions us to take meaningful steps in advancing the Access for Everyone plan, increasing accessibility and strengthening regional connections. The plan significantly reduces our funding gap through new revenues and cost savings. It protects transit services by fully funding operations through 2027 and cuts our deficit nearly in half starting in 2028. To meet growing demand, it will allow us to increase capacity across the system, meaning more handy-dart trips and more capacity on the West Coast Express. It also allows us to deliver the largest bus service expansion since 2018, which will further ease overcrowding on up to 50 of our busiest bus routes starting in September. It'll allow us to provide better access to parks and beaches with 7 new or improved seasonal services, and it will introduce 40 new or improved routes. Next slide, please. These newer improved routes I'm really excited about because it will better connect transit-oriented communities and neighborhoods that currently have limited or no service at all. They'll also expand access to major employment areas like Campbell Heights in Surrey, Gloucester in Langley, and Tilbury in Delta, helping more people get to work and helping employers attract the talent that we know they need. Together, these fast-growing industrial hubs are projected to support more than 40,000 jobs in just the next decade. Next slide, please. We'll also build on the important progress made on our bus rapid transit program, expanding on what we've already achieved over the last year. The 2025 investment plan will allow us to continue rolling out the program with funding for design work on all 3 future BRT corridors I mentioned earlier. It will also provide better connectivity to the SkyTrain for North Shore residents by extending the R2 rapid bus from Phibbs Exchange to Metrotown. Next slide, please. Lastly, the plan will keep all road users moving safely and reliably no matter how they travel. And this includes a 70% increase in funding for pavement rehabilitation on the major road network. It allows for another year of funding for the local government funding programs, allowing us to deliver important walking, cycling, and road safety projects through 2026, and the extension of the bus speed and reliability program for another year, ensuring fewer buses are stuck in traffic, keeping customers moving, and making transit more cost-effective to deliver. These changes will have a huge impact on our customers' experience and will help people get where they need to go safely, efficiently, and comfortably. Next slide, please. As we look ahead to the rest of this year and beyond, with major events and more expansion on the horizon, we're focused on enhancing service, strengthening the network, and preparing for Metro Vancouver's long-term needs. While the 2025 investment plan will allow us to begin delivering improvements to our system and advance the Access for Everyone plan, it does not mean our financial situation is resolved. It's certainly an important step, but it is not a silver bullet for resolving our funding gap. I want to emphasize that as we move forward, TransLink remains committed to strong fiscal management. In addition to the $90 million in annual cost reductions I mentioned earlier, we will continue to seek out cost efficiencies and savings to make the most of every operational dollar. And as we strive to build a system that keeps pace with our growing region, strong collaboration between all levels of government will be more important than ever. This is a big lift. It's something we can't do alone, and we're grateful for the support that we have received so far. Next slide, please. The approval of the 2025 investment plan marked an important milestone, but it really marks the beginning of a new chapter. It gives us the stability to manage today's pressures while securing a stronger, more sustainable future for Metro Vancouver. But we know the demand on our system will only continue to grow, and we must continue to rise to today's challenges while planning for tomorrow. Next slide, please. I really want to relay that our commitment to customers really drives every decision, every investment, and every improvement we make as we continue to grow with the region. And so I want to say a special thank you to our customers for continuing to show up day after day. Your trust in us is what drives everything we do, and your continued support is what fuels our purpose. So before I wrap up, I just want to also recognize our employees who deliver for our region every day, whether they're supporting customers daily on the front lines, planning and delivering new projects, maintaining bus and SkyTrain fleets, or supporting the employees who do it all. Every single employee in this enterprise plays an important role in delivering a great customer experience. Thank you all for your tireless effort and your commitment. Thank you so much. And Chair Cunningham, I'll turn it back to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kevin. I couldn't agree more. Today's is all about getting back to doing what we do best, providing reliable, efficient, and accessible transit for the people of Metro Vancouver. We must also remain focused on our mission to find cost savings and operational efficiencies wherever we can, and we can ensure our resources are used responsibly. Our customers count on us every day. As we look ahead, we must keep putting them first while continuing to deliver high-quality transit services across our growing region. Over the last year, TransLink has shown that it's not only essential to this region, but it's also one of the best-run transit systems in North America. And we're very proud of that. It's amazing to see how everything you and your team have accomplished, and I look forward to seeing what comes next. And further, I want to reinforce the board's commitment to working alongside you to ensure the stability and sustainability of our transit system today and into the future. Now I'd like to introduce Sani Zain, President and General Manager of BCRTC. And over to you, Sani.
Thank you, Chair Cunningham. And in the spirit of serving our customers and always striving to do better, I'm really happy today to present a bit of insight into what's going on behind the upcoming launch of our new Mark V trains. Next slide, please. As Kevin mentioned, the Mark V's are close to entering revenue service. This will be one of the most important milestones for us at BCRTC and the broader TransLink family as we continue to improve service and provide better trains, more modern trains for our public in this growing region. We are at the stage where a lot of the testing has been completed. We're doing the final touches on preparations to launch the trains into service. And my following slides will provide a bit of insight and behind the scenes as to what all those trains will mean for us at BCRTC. Next slide, please. So maybe starting with the basics, why the Mark V trains? A lot of our fleet is the old Mark I trains that are well known to our customers. Those entered service 40 years ago when BCRTC opened its doors. So those trains have reached the end of their service life. They've been a workhorse, provided a lot of miles, served a lot of customers, but they're coming to the end of their life. It's now difficult to find spare parts and equipment to repair them. And they also lack some basic amenities like digital screens and air conditioning. With our increasing customer levels, our weekday boardings at 350,000 and growing, and as Kevin mentioned, some of the largest transit usage in North America, we need a bigger, better train now to continue serving our customers. Next slide, please. So we're introducing a state-of-the-art new train, a bigger train, providing the best amenities that the market has to offer. These are good words. What does it actually mean in practice? If we can go to the next slide. So what our customers will notice is a lot of these new trains coming into service. We have 47 Mark V trains on order. They'll be entering service gradually at approximately one new train per month. So for the coming 2 to 3 years, we'll be seeing more and more of these trains entering service. And as they do, we'll be retiring the Mark Is. The new trains will have 5 cars, and we can walk through from end to end of those new trains. As you can see from the picture, more spacious, more modern interior, support for improved accessibility and improved digital features on the train, improved environmental improvements as well in the footprint of the train. It should be a more comfortable, quieter, more spacious ride. Next slide, please. So while our customers will see the trains, a lot of work goes on behind the scenes when we're introducing such a large number of new configuration trains for our system. So a lot of adaptation is needed to enable this to happen. If we can go to the next slide. A big part of our adaptation is our facilities. This train is longer than anything else that SkyTrain has introduced before, which means that our maintenance facilities have to expand to allow us to maintain and keep those trains in good working order. So we've been very busy behind the scenes introducing more maintenance bays, elongating our maintenance bays, and also looking at our storage space. Those trains take up more space naturally, so we need to make sure we have the space to store them, maintain them, and work on them in the overnight hours when we do all our maintenance. At our stations, those trains will fill the station platforms from end to end. So a lot of work has gone in to make sure that our station platforms are ready to receive those new trains and provide the best service for our customers. Next slide. And our preparations extend to our teams. The teams who need to maintain those trains, obviously, they need the new training for the new trains. We need the new equipment. We need to understand the new technology that's on these trains and be ready with our spare parts and all our capabilities to make sure the trains stay in a state of good repair for their life, which we hope will be 40 or 50 years. Next slide. And in many ways, the Mark Vs are arriving just in time. As we've been saying, a lot of growth and special events are happening in the region. And if we can go to the next slide, some of these are arriving very quickly. So next year, we will be welcoming the world when the FIFA World Cup comes to town. And having the Mark Vs will allow us to provide better service, more comfortable service, as a lot of excited fans will be coming to Vancouver to enjoy what will be a world-class event. And in 2027, we'll be launching the Broadway subway all the way from VCC Clark to Kitsilano. And again, having the Mark Vs will allow us to increase the capacity on the Millennium Line by running longer trains on the Millennium Line, moving the trains from Expo to Millennium as the Mark Vs pick up that capacity on the busier Expo line. So we'll start seeing the benefits of having the expanded capacity on the new trains very soon. Next slide. So while it's only a new train, it is really for us a new backbone. It is a transformational addition to our fleet. The Mark Vs will become the main type of fleet and the main type of train that SkyTrain is running. And as we've seen, it has impacted everything that we do in maintenance, in storage, and in operations. And it's a very exciting time. We are a world-class leading rail transit system, and this train will allow us to maintain that position and keep on building on our success. Next slide. Thank you, Chair. I will now turn it back over to you.
Thank you very much, Sandy, for your presentation. The long-awaited arrival of those Mark V SkyTrains will mark a major milestone for our transit system, and I know everyone's really looking forward to getting inside of them and seeing what they're actually like in live experience. They won't just improve the customer experience today, they'll help lay the foundation for our next chapter in rail expansion in Metro Vancouver. Now I'd like to introduce Randy Helmer, Vice President of Maintenance at Coast Mountain Bus Company. Randy?
Good morning, everyone. I'm very happy to be here at the AGM this morning. I'm stepping in for Mike McDaniel today. Next slide, please. This morning, I'd like to share a bit of a look back on some of our projects from 2024, some updates on our current work, and a look towards the future. Next slide, please. First off, you've most likely heard that CMBC is renewing our electric trolley bus fleet. Our next generation trolley buses are from a Polish company, Solaris Bus & Coach, who are well known for their zero-emission buses. We'll replace our fleet of 262 trolleys and possibly add up to 200 more, including both 40 and 60-foot buses. The pilot bus, the first bus of the order, it's expected to arrive early next year, so we'll test out that first bus, fine-tuning specifications and gathering operating data before the rest of the trolley buses start to roll off the assembly line in the coming years. So these trolleys will be the first in our fleet to have what's called in-motion charging, and that's the latest technology for trolley buses. So in-motion charging allows the buses to draw power from the overhead trolley wires for both driving and also charging an onboard battery. So the charged onboard battery allows the buses to operate without being attached to the overhead wires for approximately 20 kilometers. So therefore, the possibilities for what this could mean for CMBC, they may not be endless, but certainly close to it. Next slide, please. So moving from one type of zero-emission vehicle to another, let's talk about our battery electric bus fleet. So we've made more progress on the electric build-out of Hamilton Transit Center with the installation of 26 chargers on 2 bus tracks. In addition to these in-depot chargers, additional charging infrastructure will be added to our system. We now have all 15 of the Nova bus, they're called LFSE Pluses. They're in service and 7 more are expected this year. And these buses are a part of the next generation of battery electric buses with an improved battery capacity. In addition to Hamilton, Port Coquitlam Transit Center will be CMBC's second bus depot to operate and maintain battery electric buses. And the depot is currently a construction zone, and while it's still open for operations, I might add, as we work to renovate, expand, and electrify the depot. And upon completion, it will be able to house 250 plus 40-foot equivalent buses. And we also have another major construction project on the go, and that's at the future Marple Transit Center in South Vancouver. It will be our first purpose-built battery electric bus depot, and it'll handle about 300 40-foot equivalent vehicles. And you can see a rendering at the bottom of the image there. We hope to open the doors to MTC in late 2028. Next slide, please. So it's time to shift gears from talking about our vehicles to where we store them. So right now, CMBC is at a point where all of our transit centers are either at or over capacity. And as I just mentioned, to allow us to grow our battery electric fleet at Hamilton Transit Center, we had 26 plug-in chargers. And we're pleased to see that these installations were made with no loss of parking space. And the same results expected for Port Coquitlam Transit Center, and hopefully a precedent is set that our zero-emission vehicles will either take up the same amount of space in the yard or perhaps even less. And this is a pretty significant finding for us. Also, with an eye on space in our facilities, we've been exploring ways, in all ways, to store buses. You may have heard on Monday, CMBC began piloting a satellite facility at the Newton Layover in Surrey. So some of our R1 and R6 rapid buses will essentially sleep at this satellite facility at night, as space is so limited at their Home Depot. Then if this pilot is effective, the satellite facility concept could be applied across our system. The next slide, please. Last but not least, let's talk about the C-Bus. TransLink Climate Action Strategy includes a zero-emission, fully electric, next-generation C-Bus as a key objective. The next-generation C-Bus will replace the Burrard Beaver, which has been in service for almost 50 years. We don't know what it will look like, but we do know that it won't be orange, and that's the Burrard Beaver in the original livery in the late 70s that you see on the screen here. But we do know that we are on our way. So a propulsion study was completed in 2020. An infrastructure feasibility study was completed in 2022, and you can see a rendering of the possible charging infrastructure in the bottom of the photo on the screen. Vessel specifications have also been developed. There's been even more work done to reimagine the terminal and how we could improve the customer experience. There's still so much more to come and decisions to be made. Next slide, please. That brings me to the end of my presentation. I thank you. I'll pass it back to Chair Cunningham.
Thank you very much, Randy. The progress we've made across our bus fleet through cleaner fuel practices and cutting-edge technology is a major step towards a greener, more sustainable transit system, which is so important to us. I'm encouraged to see how these exciting new advancements will help us deliver on our commitment to a zero-emissions future for Metro Vancouver. I'd now like to introduce Chief Suzanne Muir, Chief Officer at the Metro Vancouver Transit Police. Suzanne?
Thank you, Chair Cunningham, and good morning, everyone. And I'm really pleased to join you today to give you an update on Transit Police. Today, I'll share some results in 2024, our preparations for the Broadway SkyTrain expansion, as well as details on planning for a new strategic plan. Next slide, please. In 2024, Transit Police added 10 additional police officer positions and also completed the hiring of our 24 community safety officers. With more officers out on the transit system every day, we saw the immediate impacts of increased presence and visibility. The number of police files where an officer was already on patrol at the station or bus loop increased by 26% year over year. Additionally, with more interactions with transit customers on a daily basis, we saw a 10% increase in the volume of text messages received by our communications center. Next slide, please. We're also continuing to increase our strength and preparations for increased deployments on the Millennium Line Broadway extension in 2027. With limited classes at the Police Academy and recruitment and training timelines of over 1 year, we needed to be increasing our strength now in preparation of the new SkyTrain stations. Supporting our work is a recent announcement by the provincial government that they will be increasing the capacity and volume of seats for new police officer recruits at the Justice Institute of British Columbia. This means instead of having 15 or 16 new officers trained per year, we may be looking at close to 24 per year to allow for growth. This is in addition to similar increases other police agencies will be seeing. Supporting this work, we're working on a new recruitment campaign to launch later this year, highlighting the unique work environment we operate in and the opportunities that come with being a regional police service serving 22 different communities. Next slide, please. Transit Police splits our daily officer deployments into 6 zones or community safety areas. Many of the additional deployments that will be occurring in the coming years will be in CSA 3 or the west end of Vancouver. The Millennium Line Broadway extension includes office spaces for our personnel working along this line. We continue to analyze our deployments to ensure that officers are spread out across the transit system and we're able to conduct proactive patrols and be where they need to be to best respond for calls for service. Next slide, please. Looking ahead to 2026, it also marks the last year of our current strategic plan. Our current plan is the 4th since Transit Police was created in 2025 and includes 3 strategic pillars, 11 objectives, and 19 KPI indicators, many of which have shown significant positive improvement since the plan launched in 2022. Each plan over Transit Police history has been 5 or 6 years in duration. However, we currently envision our next plan being somewhat shorter, beginning in 2027 and ending in either 2029 or 30. Work on the new plan will commence at the end of this year, and our strategic services team will be liaising with many of its counterparts across the enterprise for input into the community consultation and engagement phase in early 2026. Next slide, please. Thank you so much, and I'll turn it back over to Chair Cunningham.
Thank you very much, Chief Muir, for that update. As safety is a foundation of a reliable and inclusive transit system, the work that you do is so important. As our region grows and our system expands, prioritizing the safety of our customers and employees will be essential to ensuring transit remains welcoming and accessible for everyone. So it's now time to move to the last portion of our AGM, and that's our question and answer. And you'll see up on the screen that there's a link for how to access the Slido tool that we're using, which will help us facilitate the questions. If you're watching this event through Slido, you'll see the Q&A box on the right-hand side of your screen, or you can visit slido.com and enter the event code #TransLink AGM. And to help moderate the Q&A and close out today's event, I'd like to introduce Anita Bath from the TransLink Communications team. And over to you, Anita.
Thank you, Chair Cunningham, and good morning, everyone. We've got a lot of questions via Slido, which is great to see, and we are going to try to get to as many as possible, as many as time permits us to. So I'm going to read them out, and then I'll direct them to the person who's best suited to answer them. Let's get started. Okay, this one is for Kevin. Kevin, can you talk about what improvements to transit services we can expect over the next couple of years? And I know this is the first question here, but we've also got it later on as well, so you can just answer as one overall question.
Sure, that's great. So thanks, Anita. So we've got a lot of big improvements coming, and I covered this a good bit of this in my remarks. You know, the 2025 investment plan will really help us expand bus service, help us reduce overcrowding, and also advance some really key projects that we think have a great potential to improve our region's transit system. As I noted in my remarks, you know, we're going to have the largest bus service increase since 2018, and that means, you know, increasing service on up to 50 routes, 40 new or improved routes, including those serving these really rapidly growing industrial areas, especially some of those that we're seeing south of the Fraser. Some new improved services to parks and beaches. We have a beautiful region, and so many people want to go out and see our beautiful parks. And of course, extending the North Shore's R2 rapid bus to Metro Town by 2027 is also part of the funding of the 2025 investment plan. We're also able to continue design of those three BRT routes, increase Handy Dart service, additional West Coast Express train cars, and that major road network funding. So, you know, look, lots of improvements from that 2025 investment plan. I think, one of the questions I think I saw on the slide, it was around, when we might see these improvements, and folks will start seeing these improvements as early as this September. We're going to move on this quick. This region is growing. It needs service as fast as possible, and we're really hoping to start we are going to be rolling out some of those services in September. So that will start this fall. That will go into next year. People are going to start to see more service, especially on those most overcrowded routes. We know that we've got to tackle those first, as well as some of those new and improved services to those industrial areas, parks, beaches, and some of those neighborhoods that currently have very limited or no service at all. Honestly, this investment plan sets us up well for the future, allows us to get back to what we do best, which is delivering the transit service that we know Metro Vancouver really needs.
Thanks so much, Kevin. I know there's another question for you coming up, but I'm just going to skip to the third one so we can go to Sani first.
Sure.
Sani, are there plans in 2025 or 2026 to increase either frequency or train size on Millennium Line before the Broadway extension opens?
Thanks, Chair. Great question. The introduction of the Mark V's will allow us that flexibility. As we get more Mark V's into service, we are able to then retire Mark 1s and shift our fleet around to where it's needed most. So we may have that flexibility to be able to introduce 4-car Mark II trains on the Millennium Line. That would be up to operational decisions being made by the team. But certainly having the Mark V's at our disposal and being able to move away from the Mark 1s gives us that flexibility. The real improvement for us will be when we have the increased ridership on the Millennium Line with the opening of the Broadway subway project. Then we're expecting to have, on a regular basis, longer trains running on Millennium Line to serve that demand.
And this question here is just talking about the seating capacity, but you've addressed that. So, Kevin, let's go back to you now. Someone's asking about more officers checking fares. They see more of them on their commutes. This person wants to know if those officers are making a difference.
Yeah, great question. So our stepped up fare enforcement is really showing some very positive results with more customers we're seeing now paying correct fares. We launched this last August, coming out of our efficiency review that we conducted. And since then, there's been a significant increase in customers purchasing adult fare passes rather than discounted concession passes. That's resulting in more than $500,000 of additional revenue each month coming to TransLink. Since last August, customers are purchasing about $50,000 more adult Compass passes each month and 50,000 fewer concession passes than expected. So that's an interesting trend that we're really seeing. The results that we're seeing really are the result of some increased customer fare checks. Transit police and transit security, they're currently conducting over 200,000 customer checks every month to really deter fare evasion, educate customers on the proper fare payments that they should be using. And since that program launched, the number of customers that we're seeing being checked has actually tripled compared to 2023. I think it's important that we, of course, approach this with care and with sensitivity, and we're absolutely committed to educating riders on how to pay. Sometimes we come across people that just don't know how to pay, and so we want to be sure they know how to pay, they know which fare products to use, they know what resources are available to those who are unable to pay. What we're really trying to tackle here are those who are really incorrectly using concession Compass passes, which are just for people 17 and under or over 65. I do want to note, it's always important to note, to get information out there, that we do have free or subsidized passes are available through the BC Bus Pass program, as well as through other organizations that TransLink donates free passes to, such as the Homelessness Services Association of BC and other organizations. I hope that provides some information. Thanks, Anita.
Thanks so much, Kevin. Okay, this person is asking about new revenue streams, and I think this may come on the heels of one of our partnerships with Patina Brewing. So maybe you can talk about that. What new revenue streams are you pursuing?
Sure. Although I see everyone's very curious about the Mark V here, Sani. Everyone's incredibly excited about this. So I'll tackle revenue streams, but I know what everybody's really excited about. So, we're just kind of globally, we're so committed to raising revenues that is really independent from fares and from taxes. So a great example of this that we launched a couple of years ago is our real estate development program. That's going to allow us to generate new revenues to support investments back into transit service. It'll help us enhance network connections and really help build out those transit-oriented communities. Last year, our first development on Arbutus and Broadway was greenlit for construction. That's a really big milestone for us. We're hoping to break ground on this exciting development later this year with completion looking at around 2029. And we're going to continue to look at sites. There are several other collection of properties that TransLink owns that we are looking to develop to generate revenues really independent from taxation and fares. I think it's also important to note that there's revenues outside of our real estate development program that we're also looking to raise. So, Anita, as you noted, just last week we launched our own in partnership with a local brewery, a transit-themed beer, a new partnership with Patina Brewing, where we will bring in a portion of revenues from sales. We're also working to maximize advertising space on our infrastructure. That's another revenue generating piece. I'm sure many of you have seen some of the new screens that have been out at our stations, and even the in-motion advertisements that project on SkyTrain windows in the downtown SkyTrain tunnel. You can kind of see those advertisements as you go through the tunnels. That brings in revenue for us. And many of our riders have also seen some of our fun vending machines in stations that not only generate revenue, but also create a bit of buzz and create a fun experience for customers. And you'll see that we're always trying to roll out some new ideas, some new vending machines. So look, that's just a few kind of really quick examples, but we are constantly looking for any opportunities to really diversify our revenue streams. And we're going to keep doing that in the years to come.
Okay, we're almost out of time here. So yes, we will make sure we get to these Mark V questions now. Sani, this person wants to know not only when will the new Mark V enter service, but somebody else later on is also asking if we're planning a launch party.
Thanks, Anita. Yeah, it's great to see the excitement. We are very excited at BCRTC, as I know all the TransLink family is excited. I think we can say we're now within weeks. We're not within months or quarters anymore. We're within weeks doing the final preparations to enter the Mark Vs into service. The announcement will come when we're ready to go. As I think I gave a taste, a lot has gone into getting those trains ready to enter revenue service, and we're almost there. So it's now a matter of weeks, and yes, we are all excited to see them in service. The other question, Anita, was you would like me to tackle West Coast Express?
No, about the launch party, Sani.
The launch party. I would say stay tuned. I think we have a lot of interest in folks wanting to use those trains, and we'll see what we can do in terms of launch parties. But stay tuned for news about the launch. It'll be soon.
Okay, and we can answer this question about West Coast Express as well.
Thanks.
Somebody asking about weekend service.
Yeah, it is designed as a weekday commuter service, serving our customers in Mission, Maple Ridge, Pitt Meadows, into the more western parts of the region and downtown. We have no plans at the moment to introduce weekend West Coast Express service. It's important to note the rails are owned by CP. We lease the time on the rails. We have very limited opportunities to be on those tracks, and so for the time being, this is a weekday peak period, morning in, afternoon out service.
Okay, Sani, you're very good with your answers and keeping them to the point while still being thorough. So we have time for one more. I think this might be Kevin, or maybe it's you, Sani, but about the Compass mini trains being back on sale. Any chance this is going to happen?
Maybe what I can say, Anita, is there are always good ideas as how we can have excitement around Compass linked to activities and events and special milestones. And I know that the Compass team is always looking for those ideas and looking to roll them out. So I would say stay tuned. There will be things happening. Not sure if it will be the mini trains, but something will be happening with Compass to maintain the excitement and mark our milestones.
Okay, final question. Kevin, what's your favorite bus route?
It's really funny, the questions that come through. I'm an avid bus rider. I'd probably have to say my home route, which is the 187, Go 187. I'm an avid transit user, as folks know, tapped onto the system nearly 1,000 times last year. And so that 187 is tried and true for me, and really appreciate the service that provides and the great bus operators on that route, as well as across our whole system.
Thank you for answering these questions, and thank you all for submitting the questions as well. I'll pass it back to Chair Cunningham.
Thank you so much, Anita, and thanks to everyone for their questions, and apologies for those that we couldn't get to. A full recording of this meeting will be available on our YouTube channel later today. So if there was any portion you wanted to hear again or see, feel free to go and find that there. We thank you for joining us for our virtual AGM and welcome you to join us in just a few minutes for our June open board meeting, which will be live streamed on TransLink's YouTube channel beginning at 10 a.m. So with that,